I promise you, that English muffin never going to grow up. It's going to stay like that. For Rob, to be honest, I think it's like 100% Rob is better out without Sophie.
So that scene itself in particular got people talking on Reddit, which is throwing about Sophie after she read her letter to her younger self. Okay, which is something that we're gonna get into in a second, all right? And then once we get into it, we're gonna come back over here and check out some of the comments that people had to say regarding Florin's opinion on Sophie reading that goddamn letter. So let's get into it.
Because I wrote like a letter to my younger self, younger Sophie.
To you?
Yes. Younger Sophie, remember to stand up for yourself if people are mean to you. Never lose your light and always be yourself. So
I gotta say though, this letter was so freaking diabolical. I don't understand who writes a letter to themselves when they're about to break up with someone. There's a difference with going back to a letter that you wrote to yourself once upon a time and you read it in private or with friends, whatever, to remind yourself of certain things. And then you realize that maybe someone isn't for you. And then you write a letter to them, letting them know why you feel like your relationship isn't going to work and all that kind of stuff. But instead of her actually even addressing the issue they had in the relationship, she just spoke about herself.
so strong and you're beautiful. I never tried to change for others. Forward to grown-up Sophie. You are now more confident. You finally have friends. Sophie has grown into a kind, loving person.
Why are you crying? Am I being insensitive right now? But why are you crying? It's nice to see that she believes that she's grown into a kind, loving person. And I'm not saying she's not a kind, loving person. But I didn't see no type of loving person in their relationship. I'll say that much. I'm not saying that's on her. That could be down to how Rob treated her. And therefore, it was hard for her to become this kind, loving person. I'm just saying I haven't seen it. And to be fair, I haven't even seen it this season with when she's been around some of the girls, But okay.
Who deserves love and happiness? So, who you marry is not your dream man.
That was so savage. So savage. And also, going back to that whole, she's proud of the fact that she's become a kind and loving person. I'm sorry, but what kind and loving person throws their own mother under the bus? I'm just curious. All the things that she did, throwing her mom under the bus, allowing her friends to call the police on her mother so her mother can get arrested. And she wants to talk about kind and loving? Crazy work. But anyway, imagine that though, reading the letter and saying, even though you didn't find your dream man, you didn't marry your dream man. Oh man, those words are savage. I mean, listen, if you want to break up with a guy because he's been a complete ass to you, fair enough. You say what you gotta say. But if you're doing it in this kind of way, where does it make sense?
You was happy with him. First, always love and care for him.
I'm sorry, but I want to know, where did she ever love and care for Rob? I can sit and say the same thing for her, and say the same thing for him, but it kind of felt like he showed more of that love side than she ever did. All she ever did was show a side of complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint. So yeah, I didn't see the things that you spoke about. And even when she spoke about Rob when they wasn't on the show, anything that she said about him on social media was always throwing him under the bus. Always, every single time. I mean, he was doing the same as well on social media. But I'd say when they've been on the show, he has shown glimpses of maybe having a certain level of care for her. Glimpses. So maybe if he said it, I'd be like, okay, maybe you did at this point, but you didn't do it enough, because he didn't. But the fact that she's out here saying it as if she did it, come on now. And she had the audacity to say, I don't know if I put this in the video, but she had the audacity to say that she really did try. Somebody please name me one time she tried to make this relationship work. If you say to me she tried to make it work by accepting that this man had a bathroom outside of his door, and it's outside of his actual home, and she was more than willing to go outside and obviously have her bath or shower or a teeth brush, listen, don't be telling me that's it. Come on now. I don't want to hear none of that, because boy, I don't remember one time this girl, actually tried to make this relationship work. She kept running to her friend, and she kept inviting her mum into the relationship multiple times. Multiple times. And then when Rob did break up with her in the previous season, what did Sophie do? She cried. Why are you leaving me for? And then her friend was like, how dare he leave her? It should be her leaving him. Like, what the F? They both basically were. So Sophie and her friend spent a whole season making a point of why Rob and Sophie shouldn't be together, why Sophie needs to leave. And then the second that Rob left, they then both changed their tune. You know what I mean? And now they both say, no. He's not allowed to leave Sophie. That's not how it's going to work. If anyone's leaving, it's her. It's an absolute calamity. All I'm saying is that this letter had no sign, not a single ounce of accountability, not a single ounce of emotional intelligence. Pfft. Listen, Lauren wasn't lying. And the fact that she had the audacity to make the whole thing about her. Once she wrote that letter, she was then like, you can still read yours if you like. Why the hell do you read his? Oh my days. And you know the crazy thing is the fact that he didn't want to read his was confirmation that his one was going to be we should continue staying. You know, but she says in one of those little cutscenes that, hey, I didn't really think, I didn't believe that he was going to want to stay neither. The way she even tried to speak for him is mind-blowing. Blasphemy. And then the audacity to say, can I have a hug? I'm sorry, but he's not the one that just broke your heart. He's not the one that just made you cry. You wrote a letter to yourself breaking up with him. And yet you want a cuddle to make you feel good about your choice from the man that you just left? Emotional intelligence doesn't exist. If anybody should be asking for a cuddle, it should be Rob. He should be saying, well, can I at least have one more last cuddle before we part ways? But nah. She's out here saying, oh, but I want us to still be friends though. Huh? Friends with who? I want us to still talk. Rob was like, nah, we're good. We're done. Like, it's separate ways. Boom, bam. You told me that I'm not your dream man in front of everybody. But can I have a hug or no? Oh, man, I would have never given a hug. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Damn. Actually, I don't know. It's a bit subjective. Maybe I would have. I don't know. Maybe. Well, as the person viewing this from the outside, I wouldn't have given her a hug. But if I was the person in the situation, I guess emotions are attached. I guess the situation may have been different. You know what I mean? I got to keep it a buck. But hey, this is crazy work right here. And good on Rob. He gives her a nice little cuddle. Gives her a nice little hug. Nah, listen, this woman is so self-centered. It is so real. All I'm saying is that the letter itself in particular, all they spoke about was younger Sophie, who's now a grown-up Sophie. And the maddest thing about the letter is that younger Sophie is not grown-up Sophie. Grown-up Sophie is still younger Sophie. That's the maddest part about it. Girl spoke no words about why she wants to leave Rob, why she doesn't want to try, like what went wrong. Not a single ounce, told him nothing. The only thing that she did was give him clarity that the relationship was done and out. That's the only thing that she did, clarity for that. But I still want to hear yours though. Here's the thing, let's say Rob read his one and he told her how he felt. What difference would it have made? Would she have been like, oh, I didn't realize that's how you felt. Oh, I didn't realize that this is da-da-da-da-da. Like, yo, look, listen, this is not married at first sight where you get a ceremony where one says stay and one says leave, okay? And you both got to stay if one puts stay. Regardless of the other one saying they want to leave. This is a calamity. Now, I haven't actually read none of the comments here, but boy, this has been upvoted like 664 times. So people must be saying something busy in here, you know what I mean? Because goddamn. He's easily the highlight of the season. He speaks some truth for sure. My favorite is what the F is wrong with you, as we sat in our recliner saying the exact same thing. Listen, come on now. Here we go. So she is very immature even for her age. This is sadly very common for children of addicts in my experience. Her mother is extremely immature and irresponsible even now when we have seen her sober. So if that's all she's has a role model, it makes sense. She needs therapy, not a husband. The only thing is though, the mom did say that Sophie was actually, you know, like she's come from well-off family, you know, obviously they got family in Spain that they spend time with quite a bit. I mean, nobody really knows how much time Sophie really did dedicate to spending time with her mom. Like, we don't know how much Sophie was really there, you know what I mean? Like, because Sophie could have easily been with other family members, you know, throughout most of her childhood. Maybe it was just when she was a bit older, she was with her mom for the latter stages, you see what I'm saying, okay? There is that possibility, you know, and I think that's the thing though, when we don't know for sure, we don't know for sure, you know, but it is what it is, you know what I mean? Can't wait for the tell. Oh, Florence hilarious, but really, I'm continuously amazed at just how immature Sophie is. Do you know what? Listen, it doesn't surprise me, you know? I'm not amazed. Every time it happens, I'm like, thank you for proving me right. Thank you for still doing the same BS. Like, come on now. When are you ever gonna grow up? She's never gonna grow up. You know what I mean? He's so right. That was so cringe. She's so immature. The letter to herself was so unnecessary. Like, this is a vow reunion or a therapy session. I'm telling you. I mean, if anything, to be honest with you, that whole letter is something that maybe she could have read to one of the therapists, and then they could have had a conversation about it and said, hey, so let us know, why do you feel like, you know, younger Sophie felt this way, and how do you feel like that is now translated to older Sophie? What do you think is the correlation between younger and older Sophie? Is there much of a difference? Do you really feel like you've changed since then? And really kind of helped her break it down. But instead of doing that, nah. She just went up there and said what she wanted to say, and none of those therapists even said a single word. Now, I understand they're not meant to intervene with this little ceremony or whatnot, but yo, if somebody's going up there and they're speaking absolute nonsense, yo, therapists, you're still on the clock. Okay, you're not there. You're not getting paid to just be there. Okay, they probably are, to be fair with you. But you know, if you're a root therapist, you go up there and you object. You say, nah, hold on a minute, let's have a conversation. Or even after it's all said and done, when they've all sat down, pull one to the side. Have that conversation with them. Let them know. Because Sophie needed speaking to, but this is the problem, Sophie, right? Sophie has spent a life where nobody's corrected her. Everybody has enabled her behavior. And it's even happened on the show itself in particular. She's never going to grow up. It's so true. Sophie is a 13-year-old in a 25-year-old body. Facts. Florent understood his assignment for the season. Bring the entertainment. He's right, though. I thought the letter was sweet, but she's also immature to be married. He's right. The letter was sweet. It was not sweet in any... No. I'll tell you what. Let's say Sophie wrote that letter as a kid, the whole letter, and then years later read it back to herself, and then if she read it back to herself years later, being what she is now, and then looked at it and been like, okay, I see the things that I said here, but have I really achieved all of these things? Have I really grown that much? Have I really Do you see what I'm saying? She could have used that letter as a way to actually help her grow even more and see her wrongs. But instead of doing that, she wrote the letter now. So yeah, it is what it is. It blows my mind. She wrote letter to herself, dumped him, and after that she had audacity to ask what he wrote to her. Exactly. I mean, when the assignment is to reassure your love to another person or to say goodbye to another person, and one should not write a letter to oneself, I believe that is the job best served with a diary. You know what I'm saying? Okay, or on a session with somebody that you want to speak to, you know, on a therapist basis. But hey, my man Florent once again on point. He was the real star of Darcy and Stacey, hilarious and cozy how it is. Listen, to be honest with you, I've never enjoyed Florent for the most part, especially when it's come to the show of Darcy and Stacey, because he's always been But this was the first time I actually see this guy actually have character, and he was actually, you know, showing us a little bit of himself. So it was good to see a different side of him that was definitely a bit more alert, that had a bit more intelligence, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? So it was good, but it still doesn't mean that I'm a fan of the dude. The dude is still, you know, still Florent. But nonetheless, though, let me know your thoughts about the situation itself in particular. Do you think Sophie's letter to herself was reasonable, or do you think she was being absolutely ridiculous? Do you think the letter itself was mature, or do you think it was hella immature? You know, you let me know all your thoughts about it, and also what are your thoughts on what Florent had to say as well, and I guess also what I had to say. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.